Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Very intricate business going on here.
Yes indeed.
This is about as serious as we get. This is like a surgical procedure.
It is really.
So we're putting together the Rover K series, and it's a case of getting everything done. When the engine's gone from being totally in bits, you've got to sort of do everything in one go.
You do.
So the first thing you do is crank in. Obviously we've done our dummy builds on this, or Isaac has, and he's got all the running clearances correct. Piston jut out absolutely correct. You've got to make sure that that's all right before you start permanently bolting it all together. So first thing you do is crank in and put the crank carrier that contains the main bearings in with the 8mm bolts on the outside. Is that right, mate?
Yeah, that's right. So you get that all in first.
So that's basically holding the crank in, but the crank isn't, the mains isn't torqued in yet, and that's because the carrier that holds the stud and nut kit, or the bolts, we're obviously using an ARP stud and nut kit, that goes in the same, it torques up basically the same time as when you put the head on. So that's the first thing you do. Then the next thing is pistons are all, Isaac's put all the pistons into the liners
on the bench.
Loaded them all there on the bench, and you can see that he's numbered them with the arrows to the correct way, which is the front. Then what you do, you turn it upside down so the top is upwards, and load all the liners in with their correct sealer, and the pistons. So you can see the little lines he's put on there. So you can see the liners are all.
They can only go one way, and they've all got their own individual sort of unique marks, so they can't be mixed up.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason for that is because you've got the correct liner heights.
Yeah. So I've machined. Oh, I can't remember how much it was now. I think it was 6 thou off of all of them. About
6 thou, and the reason for that is because we've faced the top of the block to make sure you've got a good face there, and then a lot of the time you have to modify then the piston crowns to get the correct jut out. It's the same on all these motors really, all these performance stuff. The Cosworths, we have to do the same thing, although they haven't got liners, but we still have to do the piston jut out correct. So now he's got those loaded in with the sealer, obviously that hasn't gone off yet. We've got an anaerobic sealer on the face-to-face metal parts, so that's the parts like the crank carrier that doesn't have a gasket, same as you would on these 4x4 Cosworth sumps that don't run a gasket. We put that anaerobic sealer, and what that does is it actually stays wet where it's open to oxygen, but where there's no oxygen it goes hard, and it allows there to be sort of no gap on the face-to-face. So obviously being a crank carrier, you don't want it to be lifted off, because obviously that's going to open the clearances up.
Dissolves in oil as well, doesn't it?
Dissolves in oil, which is a good thing.
If you get overspill, it sort of
exactly.
washes
so if you
away.
have a look down in there, look where it's visible inside the crankcase, where there's going to be oil, that will just literally get washed in the oil and dissolve really.
Yeah, and then it'll be gone after the first oil change. So
yeah, so pretty good stuff. And being sort of fluorescent green, you can see where, make sure you've got like an even coating all the way around where it spills out. So then the next stage, guys, we put it on its side to make sure that the pistons and liners don't come forward, and Isaac's just putting the caps on. You can see there he's marked them very cleverly, so you know exactly which one goes on which. It's quite easy to get confused once you've got the crank in, the pistons and rods in the block, and the cap still on the bench. So now we've got to torque those up, and then the next thing will be the carrier, which is this little beauty here that holds the studs for the stud and nut kit. That'll be going on the base. Then it'll be head on with the gaskets, and get it all torqued up in one big sandwich, mate, won't it?
Yep, that's it.
So it's a procedure you've got to do all in one go, in a sequence. Probably one of the only motors like that, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think the only motor that I've got that's a very similar sort of design is one of the Volkswagen 5-cylinders, the terrible design.
Oh, right.
But
It's a good design, really. You've just got to really sort of plan ahead and make sure you've got everything ready. You've sort of got any torque figures you need all ready to go.
Got to get organised, haven't you?
Yeah. Because most stuff you can sort of like do a bit and then leave it, but this you got to do the whole lot.
Yeah.
Like in one hit. So
this is sort of therapy for us, this motor, because this has been lingering around for ages, isn't it?
It has.
Probably more so encouraged by Andy, the owner, because Andy's away working quite a lot. He's no rush with this whatsoever, which is no excuse, but he certainly doesn't need it until sort of next year, so where he's going to be doing a race series with it. But we thought we'd better get it done, seeing as we've got plenty coming in the door. I spoke to Christian yesterday with the Figaros.
Oh yeah, more of them?
8 coming in on Tuesday.
So that's 32 pistons and rods for me to sort out.
Just in case you didn't have anything else to do. I'm just looking forward to seeing John's face when they turn up.
He'll love it. He'll be very excited about that.
There'll be 2 pallets of that lot coming in.
Yep. That's all right. That's ideal, really.
Yeah. So guys, the 6-cylinder Ingenious engine.
Yeah. Not so.
We've got this a bit stripped, mate. And what is the good news and what is the bad news?
Good news, is it? Is there good news?
Ain't no good news.
I don't think there is there?
No.
It's...
Well, the good news is it's a fairly new vehicle worth quite a lot of money.
You could... Yeah, that could also be the bad news.
About 3-year-old with about 21,000 miles on the clock. And the bad news is...
It's buggered.
It sort of looks like that in there. And that...
That ain't good. Look, I mean, look around this oil feed.
Well, I mean...
It's been feeding oil. Well,
for what
was oil.
For what you need an oil feed to do. You know. Marvellous. So yeah, 21,000 mile, just over 3 years old. Still a 21 plate. And it looked like it could do with probably several more services than it had, which was probably none or one.
Probably one, maybe. You'd think, oh, I don't know, it's just...
So what conclusion have we come to, mate, with this and the reason for this? The reason for failure first of the engine?
Well, probably some sort of blockage if you've got lumps of things like that.
Oh my,
that's like
oh
hard.
My good God, is that actually oil?
I guess so.
Carbon.
Unless they've poured like...
I mean, you can't even see the head stud threads or the nuts, wherever they are.
I think
look at it in the chainrail. Look at that.
Look how thick that is.
Absolutely disgusting.
Need a bloody excavator to get all that out.
Oh my good God. So, what's the plan here then, mate? What are we going to do?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to get this head fully off. I didn't want to go any further because I wanted to wait till we could do a little video on that, because that's a bit...
it's horrible, isn't it? It's just unbelievable. I know the thing needed servicing, but you've got LandRover who are saying it's 3 to 4 months waiting on a service.
Yeah.
The service intervals on these are just way too long, like anything else.
Well, what did you say? Is it 20,
about 2 years or 24,000 miles or
so
something?
he'd had it 3 years. So best case scenario, this thing had had one service in 3 years.
Yeah.
But it could have had none because it hasn't done 24,000 miles.
Exactly.
So...
Yeah, well, it's in theory, yeah. But looking at the state of that, it looks like it needed about 4 or 5 services in that time.
It looks like,
It's the same with them.
Quite a few more.
Same with them vans over there, innit?
Yeah.
They're
well,
rubbish.
most diesel stuff, just all of it now.
They're terrible. They give it the wet belt designs crap, but it's not. It's the service intervals.
Yeah.
If they just halved it, I don't think you'd have half this trouble.
Probably not. No.
No. But anyway, I've been in touch with various suppliers on parts for these. Not available or very difficult to get hold of bits.
Oh dear.
Yes. The cranks US, I would have thought, if it's done an end like it's done. So I've been in touch with LandRover, and you can get a short motor. They list a tall motor for about 14,000 quid, but you can't get one. They do a short motor for about 6,400 quid. Head gasket's 300 quid. You can get the timing kit.
Yeah. But you can't get individual.
No, you can't get individual bits. So I think what we're going to have to do, I spoke to the customer, we're going to go for a short motor, genuine. We're going to obviously take the head off, service the head, head gasket or headset, cam belt, a cam chain kit.
Probably want some hydraulics in there after all that's been through.
Probably, all those bits and bobs. So he's going to be looking fairly serious money, or around the sort of money that it would cost from LandRover to buy an engine if you could get one.
I wonder what it'd cost to swap a BMW M57 or something in there.
Looks very similar, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and it would be a much better engine.
It would be, really.
I've seen people saying that in the comments, actually. And I thought that's not a bad idea.
No, it isn't. But there we go, mate. So that's where we are at the moment. So your next step, head off.
Head off, yeah.
Give that a thorough clean and see what it looks like.
Leave that in the wash for about a week, I reckon. Nasty
business. So what's the next step, mate?
Get that on. I think I've got to put some, I don't know, should I put weld seal or should I do some anaerobic sealer? Just because this is like an oil bar down here.
Probably a little bit of
just
a bit of weld seal in it, or Eldite or something like that, innit?
Yeah. It feeds the mains.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just a little bit around there.
Just a little bit, just to make sure it don't leak.
Yeah. Job done. They're all torqued up. What, 45 foot-pound?
45, yeah.
Nice.
They're 3/8 ARP 2000 bolts. So thread the ARP studs, which are down here. Got them in the bottom there. Thread those in, and then we can lower the head on.
In the meantime, look, the Cosworths are looking pretty much finished now. Just waiting for the rocker covers from ADH to still be blasted. And then I can get those painted. So this one here is going to go back to red because this is in a sapphire. And this one, although it is a two-wheel drive Sierra engine and running gear, because it's a rear-wheel drive Escort, we're going to do a blue rocker cover because that is obviously what the Escorts had in them. So it'll look a bit more to what the car's like. But yeah, that's all we've got to do now, I think, on these. We've got our 17mm turbo to manifold nut to turn up yesterday. This one's all on. So this is a reconditioned T3, which the standard Cosworths had. And this is a T34 hybrid because we're going to be going a bit more power on this one. It's got a 6.3 Backhausen, so you should be looking maximum with that turbo about 420 maybe. About 400 foot-pound of torque, which is probably more than enough in a rear-wheel drive Escort, to be fair. But yeah, they look very, very nice compared to what they were like when they were in. Just all these little details, like the plating of even the clips there that hold the injectors in. Just looks like you've made an effort, doesn't it, really? So we've got it the right way up now. I could feel by trying to turn that liner that it started to go a bit tacky. That is the carrier that's on there, so there's a little bit of weld seal round, just a bit of sealer, make sure that where the oil feeds through, that there's going to be no air leaks or anything. And you've got this nut here and that nut over there that literally just holds the carrier up, but it's the actual overall torque on the studs that pull that carrier into the base of the block. So it is literally like a big sandwich, isn't it?
It is. So, just going to grease these up.
Have they got an Allen key head in there?
No, they don't. Oh. I think it says just go hand tight, and then they literally just drop.
Okay.
All the way through.
All the way through.
And thread in right down the bottom.
Screwing into the base down there.
Yeah, I think it says in the manual, if it doesn't thread in until it's tight, just by hand, then you need to take it all apart again and check the threads.
Excellent.
Or get underneath and check the threads.
Marvellous.
That feels pretty good. And it's just popped out the bottom there, so...
Just popped out the bottom, so that's
it then,
isn't it?
Right.
Perfect. So, all the studs are in, wound in by hand.
Yep, all went in lovely.
All went in very nice, and you can see each and every one now is just protruding the base of that carrier. So we know that they're down to their stop. Isaac's just cleaning up the face of the block. Next step is head gasket.
Yep. Pop
Save
the
a
head
shim.
gasket on. Yeah, save a shim.
Save a shim to save the head gasket eating into the head face, which was always a renowned sort of problem with these.
And apparently it spreads the load over the top of the liners as well.
Oh, really?
Helps to do that, yeah.
Okay.
So,
And if you notice today, mate, I'm taking note of the comments from the last video, giving you chance to finish what you're saying without butting in.
oh, bloody hell,
Which
mate.
is a bad habit of mine, isn't it?
Well, I don't
it's
think
not
we-
all about me.
I don't think you do that badly, to be honest. It's like we're just having a conversation, aren't we?
I nearly did it then.
Did you? That's funny.
Never mind. Let's hear more about what you got to say.
So just gonna pop this on there.
Okay. Making sure it's on the right way, obviously.
Yeah. So got the markings there, which will indicate that that's the top side.
Okie doke.
And then this one that goes over the top.
We've got the, you can see there we've got the steel dowels in as opposed to the plastic ones which they come with originally.
Yeah.
Not a great idea.
No.
Another thing to do on this, which Isaac does already know, is to make sure, obviously because we've faced the top of the block and the head face, is to make sure that these dowels are not protruding too much, that they're going to bottom out in the base of the head on anything whenever you do a head gasket. So what that will do is give you a false indication that it is clamping down.
Yeah.
And it could blow the head gasket.
Double check that, shall us?
I hope you're enjoying our more technical videos lately, guys. I've took a little bit of a hit on the views for this, but I think it's a bit more, I think in the long run, it's going to probably do us more favours, innit?
Probably.
And I do enjoy doing the technical more. It gives everyone more of an indication on what we do with these engines, and especially on the competition side, it's quite interesting, isn't it?
It is
something
really.
that most people don't usually see.
No, they don't.
All the technical bits, because...
So we got about 9.2 mil in the sort of room in the head for this dowel, and that's about 9 mil up. So
but then you've got
with
the gasket, and there's a taper on the top there, which is going to go
into the.
So we're going to be absolutely fine there, buddy.
Ideal.
Ideal.
So.
So what we've done now, obviously now it's all sort of sitting there, just waiting for the head. I've made sure that these liners are sitting down on the base. I've done a double check measurement of the protrusion, and we've got about 3.5 thou, which is bang on in the middle, I would say.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that those liners are seating correctly. They're all lined up with the little marks that Isaac's given them. All the pistons are in the right direction, so we are ready to get that head on, mate, aren't we?
We are.
And then we're going to have one sort of complete Rover engine, which is quite nice, really.
Yeah.
Getting on with everything, getting everything back in into one piece, which is nice, and then ready to crack on with the other builds.
So
It's never ending in here.
No, it ain't.
I don't know why sometimes I think there is going to be an ending. It's almost like I'm trying to get some
chasing the end.
Chasing the end that's never going to be there, hopefully.
So I've just double checked again in the manual that the saver shim definitely goes on the top.
Yeah.
I was pretty certain it was.
It goes on the head side, yeah.
Yeah. So now I just need to make sure the face is all clean, which it ain't at the minute.
All the valves are seating correctly.
Yeah.
The springs are on. We've got stem seals on there. So what we shall do, once the head's on and torqued, we'll then put the new hydraulics and the cams, etc. in afterwards.
Yes. So I'll just clean this off.
Isaac's just pulling down the cylinder head now. He's got the ARP grease on, and this is the destructions for the stud and nut kit. And you can see down here it's got preload torque recommendations. Obviously using the ARP lube, it says here, following manufacturer's recommended torque sequence, tighten the nuts in 3 equal steps to 50 foot-pounds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you torque them down, it sort of does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean this is 15 foot-pound right now. just to start it off, and it already feels like that's like not tight, but it's feels like more than like a dry 15 foot-pound.
Yeah, and because of it's say 50 foot-pounds, like the Cosworths are about 36 foot-pound, and then I do them 2 lots of what do I do them? 2 lots of 90 degrees, 180 really, but yeah, you'd think 50 ain't too much, but you've got that long stud going all the way through. That's going to stretch quite a lot with that ARP grease and 50 foot-pounds on. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you found it fairly interesting. Let me know your thoughts on the Ingenious 6-cylinder engine. We all know about the 4. But until Monday's video, thank you very much. Have a great yeah, maybe Monday or maybe Tuesday, but we'll see you Monday or Tuesday. Take care, guys.